David holds the phone for me. All right, my headache kind of went away. Headache. Head is the noun, ache is the verb. All right, I'm back. I'm wearing a blue shirt. I'm wearing I have my snacks, or a snack. I have Ruffles. I have Coca-Cola. And I want to retain viewers, because I know people drop off. They come on and they drop off, and I'm trying to fine tune that so that I don't have people dropping off. I want to have an interesting show for people. I'm liking more and more the chips that are in a can, because the chips that are in a can, they don't break. I'm hard pressed to find a chip bigger than this in a bag of chips. This I know is made from a potato, and sometimes potatoes are only that big around. And the chips in the bag are being protected by the air in the bag. Once you open the chips, they're no longer protected. They are at the mercy of whoever picks up the bag. So here I am, and here you are. We have the fart gun. I'm eating chips so that I can stop the nervous feeling in my stomach. Welcome all of you 7 viewers. Hey Alex, welcome, welcome. I guess now as school is starting to let out, I think. I started a show earlier, and I got a few people to chat with. And that's what this is about. It's about chatting. It's not about me lecturing. Stomach issues. Is it esophageal reflux? I hate it when I get heartburn. I don't know why they call it heartburn, because the stomach, it comes up through the esophagus. They should call it esophaburn, because it's like it hangs on for a while, and it's hard to go to sleep. And whenever I eat like French onion dip or eat a pizza sometimes. So stomach issues. You know what I do is baking soda. Mix baking soda and water and just drink the baking soda and water. It stops the reflux. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I guess prayer. Sometimes when I pray for people, they recover. My brother did. Man, he had like there's not just a flu out there anymore. It's like flu type A or something like that. My brother was given some medication for that, and then he got COVID. It's like, wow. But he's doing okay. I just saw him yesterday, so he's holding in. He's hanging in there. He's doing pretty good. So yeah, sometimes they should take a look in there, see do a sonogram or something. A lot goes on with our inner workings. Welcome. So I know there's so many things they're finding new that can go wrong with the human body, and they cash in every time. Yeah. Well, I'll definitely be thinking about you. I like hearing when people recover, or at least they find out what's wrong and start treating it. It's always scary when something goes wrong with our bodies. Until we get some reassuring words. I think what's now going on is the career patient. I call myself a career patient. Yes, thumbs up. I keep thinking about Roman times. Whenever the emperor did this, um, they wanted you to be dead. If they do this, they wanted you to live. And they got nowadays we say this is good and this is not good. It kind of looks like a person standing, I guess. They say, I want him to live. And whenever the emperor did that, I want you to live. It was weird how they said, we who are about to die salute you. Because it was like gladiators were entertainment back then. People killing each other. Now they have MMA, cage fights, and wrestling and all that. People like to crowd around to see other people get hurt or to be hurt in some way. Yeah. So how is everybody? I got 14 people watching. That could be a good thing. Yeah, boxing. People die from boxing. People get head injuries. That's what happened to Muhammad Ali. He was, yep. But it's like, man, punches to the head are serious. It can cause some really concussions and face fractures. They should. I like those helmets. You know, when they're training. But that doesn't stop a concussion, though. Picture your brain is suspended in liquid, and whenever your head gets hit, your brain moves around. It hits the front and the back of your skull. Your skull is just a housing for your brain, and your brain is basically floating in spinal fluid. So yeah, you can get lose. I know, and you know what? Nothing has changed. I was doing some research about medieval torture and medieval executions, public executions, and they're pretty gruesome tortures. You know, like during the Inquisition, and there was, yeah, it hasn't gotten any better. We like to think we're better, but we as a species have a lot of growing up to do when it comes to public executions. People actually used to sell snacks during public executions during the medieval times. 1977 was the last execution by guillotine. 1977. They were saying like right when Star Wars came out. That was the last beheading. People are doing beheadings now, but they're not public executions. It's like people want to see people suffer. Me, I'm more empathetic. I know. It seems like, hey, you call the cops, It used to be you'd see somebody in the back of a cop car if something like that happened. Oh, the guillotines were in France. They were saying in France, yeah, the guillotine, the inventor of the guillotine. I think his name was Guillotine. But I guess it's better than the bronze bull. Man, they just what was funny was the guy who invented the bronze bull. He was a victim of the bronze bull. That's horrifying. It's like, hey, how can I torture somebody else? You know, and then suddenly you say, hey, get inside that bull right now. That was it's kind of interesting how psychopathy works. People are sociopaths and psychopaths. They have no empathy. The only time they cry and get upset is when they're the ones who are suffering the loss or the punishment. But as far as other people, it's like, hey, yeah, like the slasher films of the '80s. It all started with Friday the 13th, and then all these movies started coming out. That's right. Emperor Nero, I think, used the Raging Bull. I'm not the Raging Bull, the Bronze Bull. And then there were people who got boiled in water or oil, boiling in oil. Yes. It is weird how people are entertained by things like that. And even now when you watch MMA, it could be, yeah. You know what? Now that I think about it, it was Friday the 13th. Tom Savini was the special effects guy for Friday the 13th. Yeah, I remember on the playground, people were talking about when I was a kid, the first Halloween movie came out, and they were all talking about the movie, you know, Halloween. And that's how Jamie Lee Curtis got her start. She went on to do other movies. And yeah, with me, it was the Kung Fu movies. When I was a kid, it was like watching Bruce Lee and Steve Chase and Jean Claude Van Damme, Steven Seagal, all these martial artists. There's few movies about street fighters. Street fighters seem to be pretty good at what they do. Because a lot of people spend a lot of time in the dojo, and when they get into a street fight, they don't do so well. Yeah, martial arts, watching the kung fu, or people call them chop saki. That's like a religion for people, learning their own styles and their own techniques and methods. Every country has their own martial art. You know, like Israel has their Krav Maga. Jamaica also has a martial art. I forgot what they called it. It looks like a dance, but they're not dancing. They're actually fighting. They do kicks and maneuvers and moves. And then there's self-defense weapons. I'm still into self-defense weapons or offensive weapons. I think blow darts are pretty cool. Bull, blow darts and shoot a can. I think they're called shoot a can. They're like the throwing stars. They actually use them as poison delivery devices. It's not so much the throwing star; it's what the throwing star has on it. And nunchucks or nunchaka or It means bending stick. Bruce Lee introduced the nunchuck, or nunchucks as people call them. He would play ping pong with nunchucks. There were some black and white videos of him playing ping pong with two guys, or against two guys. And he was smacking the ping pong balls around with his nunchucks. And also lighting matches. He had some matches. They would throw matches at him and he would light them in midair. Yeah, nunchuckas. But it's in another language. They say they can generate a lot of force with nunchucks. Nunchuckas. And then there's the, what's that other weapon? The eskrima. Eskrima is used in the Philippines. That's a skill I'd like to learn. It takes a lot of, it demands a lot of your physical ability. They would practice in the water. They learned how to disarm a person who has eskrima. They're like the double sticks. They're two sticks that are same length. And there's also the Cree. The Crees is like it's a poison metal. It's like a huge knife that they use. And the metal that's made of is poison. If you get cut with it, it can kill a person. I like killing people with mind bullets. Mind bullets. That was that Wonder Boy song. You ever hear that? Tenacious D. Wonder Boy, what is the secret of your power? He talks about mind bullets. I think being mental protection, thinking of yourself as being safe. Oh, a Buddhist temple, yeah. Shaolin, have you ever watched them train? They start them at young ages. And they put them through a lot of, it looks pretty abusive, and to build them up so that they can be very good fighters, really good fighters. Kind of like in Kill Bill 2. Oh, you've heard Tenacious D? Yeah. Tenacious D. I have a few of their CDs. The Pick of Destiny. I have their soundtrack. Also their movie, The Pick of Destiny. You like it? I'm the devil, I love metal. Check this riff, it's fucking tasty. I'm the devil, I can do what I want. Whatever I've got, I'm gonna flaunt. Dave Grohl played the devil. I like that Clockwork Orange reference. When he was sleeping out there on the bench, and they all started harassing him or bullying him. So we got two people. I wonder who the other person is. We'll see. We'll see if they want to reveal themselves. We'll have a reveal. I know, that was quite a makeup job. Have you ever seen Legend, The movie that's in my movie playlist. I think that's what I'll have to do is put the movie playlist in the description. Legend was played. The devil is played by Tim Curry. He was the Frankenfurter in the Rocky Horror Picture Show. At first, it was called the Rocky Horror Show, and then it was called when it became a movie. It's still being played today. It was like the most grossing movie, the highest grossing movie, I think. How do I see you've met my faithful handyman? They started showing that on Fox back in the 90s. Before, you can only go see it in the theaters. That's where the term Easter egg came from on the set.
Mercury time.
How do you change a dishwasher into a leaf blower? Put them out in the yard? I guess we're going to find out. I'm the dishwasher here. I'm the dishwasher. Sometimes my mom is the dishwasher. Your mom's the dishwasher. I guess we're anxiously awaiting the punchline. We'll see how entertaining we can keep this. Install a fan. So it looks like Alex heard that one. So Kitty Odell and Alex Gomez are interacting with us today. Oh, I'm starting to like Coke all over again. Coca-Cola. It's a cola made from Coke. Give the bitch a rake. That sounds funny. I like, what's the difference between a girlfriend and a refrigerator? A refrigerator doesn't fart when you take your meat out. I need to look up some more jokes. I'm running out of jokes. We can't say jokes like that. We're gonna offend people. Coca-Cola. Hand the bitch a rake. So how is everyone doing today? I'm doing okay. I'm indoors on an otherwise cold day. I'll be glad to see some blue sky for once. The last few days it's just been gloomy. I don't know. Why are they? Quiet in the restroom. Because the P is silent. I like jokes. We need to share more jokes. So I'm rocking back and forth so I can see. Keep the jokes coming. Maybe I'll remember some jokes. Like, why don't birds wear underwear? Because there are peckers on their head. That's an old one. Be right back. So today I don't have to check on ages because this one is for everybody. I notice some of my fans are under 18, even though my jokes aren't for under 18 people. They still comment on them. But heck, if I can make anybody laugh, I'm doing my job. What's the difference between black man and a black man? Uh-oh, we're going to find out. Kitty Odell. Okay. That almost sounds like a news reporter. There's a Kitty O'Neill that was a news reporter. What's the difference between Batman and a black man? We have to keep our jokes safe. We have to... Wow. Those are iffy jokes. We could get in trouble for telling those jokes. You can go out without a robin. It's all good humor. We're just, what's a joke among friends? So it looks like I got, oh, okay. Well then, yeah, you're justified then. I can tell Irish jokes because I'm Irish. From the waist down. That is good humor. When you can joke about things like that. So no new chats yet. Why is it saying 0? That's weird. People are still... Oh. Kitty. Infamo. Amatho. Oh. It's not Kitty. It's not Kitty. It's her awesome boyfriend. Okay. So you're borrowing. Okay. That's understandable. You're using another person's account. So I guess it's time for more fart noises. You hijacked her phone. She's cracking up. Okay, you're watching together then. It's a twofer. There we go. That sounds relieving. I feel relieved now that I hear that. Now that I hear the fart sounds. That's what this is. Light-hearted humor. Sharing jokes. Hijacked. He hijacked a phone and began to crack jokes. He is here to kick your fucking ass. and you know his name is Kyle Glass. Kyle Glass. Kyle Gass. That's right. KG. Rocking and fucking rolling and fucking rocking and fucking rolling. Johann Sebastian Bach. He is here to kick your fucking ass, and you know his name is Kyle Gass. Rocking and fucking rolling and fucking rocking and fucking rolling. It's time to don our hat. Donner hat. I'm donnering. Let's turn up the fun. Let's turn up the fun now. We're here putting on our Willy Wonka hat. Have you seen Devil's Rejects? Bill Moseley had played Otis. Yahoo! The guy who played Captain Spaulding passed away. Sid Haig. Sid Haig had quite a career. Sid Haig, H-E-G, Sid, or H-E-G, Sid Haig. I won't have to put my boot all up in your ass. What's the matter, kid? Don't you like clowns? Don't we make you laugh? Aren't we fucking funny? Chips. Chips are good for you. Chips are made of deep fried potatoes. Chips are a product of anger. Did you know that? Somebody got angry at somebody who complained about his cooked potatoes. And he cooked a potato that was real thin, threw it into the deep fryer. And the guy, I guess he was complaining that the potato wasn't crispy enough. So I guess I've been abandoned. There's no knowing where we're rowing. There's no knowing where we're going. Which direction we are rowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a-blowing? The rowers show no sign that they are... Not a speck of light is showing. The danger must be growing. I wish I could remember that. I want to rehearse that whole thing. Not a speck of light is showing, so the danger must be growing. The rowers show no sign that they are slowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane a-blowing? Is the grizzly reaper mowing? Are the fires of hell a-glowing? I know I've repeated myself a few times. Take this piece of chicken to your mama, and I won't have to put my foot all up in your ass. I like a well-written movie. know, these chips taste good right now. I'll have chili and chips. This is Ed eating chips. Like a man eating lion, a man eating tiger, Ed eating chips. So I'm seeing... So we'll just see who else chats with us today. I think this hat is messing with my crown chakra. I have to take off this hat so that the energy can flow. My hat restricts my energy flow. There we go. Let's see what other tunes I can play. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, his name is my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt, his name is my name too. Whenever we go out, the people always shout. This is a song that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and it goes on forever. Just because it's a song that doesn't end. It just goes on and on, my friends. Some people started singing it, not knowing what it was, and they'll just keep singing it forever just because. We'll have to put a stop to that song that doesn't end. That's the Superman song, back when Christopher Reeves was the Superman. So I guess I'm retaining 2 watchers today. Retaining. Watcher retention. Coca-Cola burp. Willkommen! Ich heiße Ed. Sounds like the Baroque period. Come on, baby, let's do the twist like we did last summer. I notice when I go to Dairy Queen, the Dairy Queen in Hiram, they play songs from the 50s. I look forward to going to the Dairy Queen in Hiram. Well, I lost all my viewers. They're all gone. They're all gone. I have 3 dots. I notice my picture is tipped a little bit. There. How is everyone? I had some people chatting with me. 42 minutes into the show. I guess what I'll do is I'll sit here and eat chips. The the link I am the link that I am promoting is Kingdom of Pets. It's in the description. If you want to learn how to train your dog or care for your pet, or your, yeah, pet is an umbrella term because people have different kinds of pets, and you can learn how to train your pet, care for your pet. They are specialists. They are pet specialists, and the link is in the description. So there we go. We got that out of the way. So I'll resume eating chips. I think that's the best I can do. I'm going to keep my figure. I'm going to keep my figure by not eating so much. So are there any questions? Anything I can, any queries? Queries. Trying so hard to make my hair look good. This is a show that uplifts. I'm pretty sure that's what the caption says. We can focus on what uplifts us. See if we can switch. We'll take a quantum leap. That's what we can do. We can take a quantum leap. a leap of faith. I am enjoying my ideal life. I am enjoying my life. I am enjoying my life. I am playing with my selfie stick. I can actually take pictures with this selfie stick. I have a button here on the selfie stick. It is a little button right there. Click, click, click. I can put my phone in the selfie stick and the bracket here, and I plug this in to the phone, and it becomes a part of the phone. I want to go to the downtown Dallas, Georgia, and I can take us on a tour of downtown Dallas, Georgia. That would be kind of neat, I think. Sometimes I can find surprises. Here I am, folks. I haven't made any shorts in a while. I'm trying to I'm trying to tap into that creative part of me so that I can create good shorts. I have a lot of shorts that no one is watching, that no one is clicking on, and you could probably amuse yourself the whole day with all of the shorts that I've made. Some of them are jokes, and some of them are, what movie is this from? Did you not hear me? I can't give out any information. No Country for Old Men is a movie that is playing now on YouTube. It is one of the free movies. You can do a search for No Country for Old Men, and it's a pretty good movie, pretty accurate movie. Javier, the guy who played the psychopath, a lot of psychiatrists who have watched the movie say that he's pretty accurate, very accurate. An accurate depiction of a person who has psychopathy or a sociopath. Psychopathy. And here I am playing with my selfie stick. So what could I possibly do? What can I possibly do to entertain? I'm basically sitting here looking at my rendering, my digital rendering of my face. Some people were chatting with me. This is not Kitty. It's her awesome boyfriend. Hijacked her phone. She's cracking up. Without a Robin. So I guess Alex and Kitty's boyfriend have left the building. So this particular stream only had 2 people. Oh, 3 people. The Toilet Empire. It's me, aka Big Cameraman. So hopefully some people will join in. It's around 1 o'clock, almost 2 o'clock, or it's probably 1300 here. I got to remember in the UK they use military time. Military time. Wow, that sounds like Middle Eastern music. Let's charm some snakes. That sounds like MASH. I'm here. Wait a minute. Got to get back down to where people are typing things in. There we go. Tried to play some beautiful music. Steve Carell plays a small flute. I forgot what there was I forgot what they called that. It'd be nice to to be taught. First, so I could say I was taught by Steve Carell how to play a small flute. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. You could be a star that burned out, and we're just now seeing your light. Because light travels at the speed of light. They say there's a planet that's very much like Earth out there. It's capable of sustaining life. But I bet you, I think it's bigger than Earth, which means the gravity will probably be a lot more. So that if we went to that planet, we could probably only crawl. Then we'd have to adapt to that planet's gravitational pull. You know what? The people of Earth deserve what they get. There's so much space trash. There's so much garbage in the Earth's orbit that we can't leave Earth. We're very good at producing trash. We're very good, the human race. And it's only the human race. No other animal on the planet produces garbage. Because you think a chimpanzee, an orangutan, or every other creature basically just eats things and leaves behind biodegradable debris. But we create garbage. That's what we're good for. We create garbage and other pollutants. And we keep creating pollutants and garbage. But why? Why are we we're so good at creating garbage? That's what we do. We create rubbish. And we bury ourselves in rubbish and pollutants. We have the intelligence to create rubbish and pollutants. And things that, pollute the air, pollute the water. We are like, but then there are humans that are trying to remedy the garbage, trying to remedy the pollutants by charging us $20 a year to have carbon emissions tests every year. But then there's still exhaust in the air. There's still exhaust in the air. Go out here to the freeway at lunchtime or at 5 o'clock, and we're just there's just so many toxins in the air created by automobiles. Why did we have to invent the automobile? Small towns, you could just ride in on a horse. Horse shit is biodegradable. Emissions from a horse don't harm the environment. And we can walk on our own two legs into town to go to the general store or to the dentist or the doctor, the town doctor. It would be nice to bypass time, space-time, and go back to those days when we weren't imprisoned by our own garbage. We can't even leave the planet now because there's so much garbage. They're afraid that there's going to be a garbage collision in the Earth's orbit that might cause a catastrophe. And then we're worried about asteroids, comets, colliding with Earth. That's never happened. The human race is self-destructive. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. We don't choose to be human. We just are human. Some of us are more human than others. Some of us are everything but humane. Humane or human. Punishments, do they really fit the crime? Shouldn't there be forgiveness if a guy doesn't recede or if he's not a recidivist? Should his record just go? If he's released after his time served and he doesn't, there should be like a 5-year record. And if a guy after 5 years does not repeat his crime, then the record should just go. It should just be omitted. The only reason a person should continue paying for a crime is if he commits the crime again. These are just thoughts I have. Because some people they're pulled out of their full potential because of a crime they committed 17 years ago and haven't committed it since. They're not a recidivist. I think we should only punish recidivists. We should, if somebody, but then again, murder, how do you punish murder? A guy is capable of murdering somebody. And that's what baffles me. If a tiger kills somebody, they're put down. The tiger is put down. If a dog kills somebody or harms somebody, the dog is put down. But humans, on the other hand, they think they're going to, I don't know. These are things I think about from time to time. I'm pretty sure everybody has their own opinion. Everybody has their own. Let me know in the comments your opinion of somebody who commits murder. Or somebody who robs somebody. If after 7 years, I don't know why I'm thinking 7 years, but after maybe 3 years, they never commit the crime again. That shows me that they've learned, they've been rehabilitated, or they have repented. That's what gets me about religion, is they talk about repentance, but then they execute people. They execute people who commit crimes, or like a felony stays on your record forever. And it's like, but then they talk about repentance, they talk about forgiveness. Which kind of defeats the purpose. But then again, someone commits murder, a capital crime. Why am I thinking about things like this? about forgiveness and repentance. If we practice forgiveness and repentance, what kind of a world would we live in? Because there are people who commit a crime and they commit the crime again after doing their time. After they do their time, they're released from prison, and they repeat the crime. They go out and do another crime. It's like, that defeats the purpose. You want to stop crime. Why do you let somebody out who has committed the crime? How do we know that that person's not going to be a recidivist? Nobody really knows. We can give them a lie detector test. Are you going to murder again? You know, are you going to rape again after you have, you know, we put you in jail to protect us from your raping. We put you in jail to protect you to protect us from your murdering. And then we let you out again and you murder again. Who's responsible? If I cage a tiger after the tiger has eaten someone or killed someone, and then I hold him for a couple of days, and then I let him back out again, who's responsible? Who's responsible for the next person that tiger kills? I'd be responsible. I'd be responsible for letting that tiger back out. If a tiger kills someone or eats someone, or both, and we cage that tiger, and I hold him for a couple of weeks, maybe a year, you know, and then I let that same tiger back out, and he kills somebody again. Who should be responsible for that? These are things I think about, you know, because a person who kills is voted most likely to kill again. Because that happens. That happens. A person is let out. They're incarcerated. They are convicted, incarcerated, and then let back out, and then they do it again. Who should be responsible for that? For the you put him in prison to prevent him from killing again, or her from killing again, and then you release them again into the populace, and they kill another person. Do you really want to take that gamble? That's what blows me away. And then another one that gets me even more is somebody lies about them being committing the crime of rape. This guy goes to prison, and because somebody lied about them raping them, who should be responsible? Let me know in the comments, because that does happen. Women, for example, will lie about a man raping them, and that man goes to prison, and they don't like rapists in prison. They don't like pedophiles in prison. I couldn't imagine what would happen if somebody lied about somebody touching them or assaulting them. I couldn't imagine that. That'd be so beyond what I think anybody could process. If somebody lies about being touched, somebody lies about being raped, and a totally innocent guy, a guy who works at the 7-Eleven, or a guy who works at the Home Depot, suddenly his life is over because somebody lied, because somebody told. That guy should be compensated. There should be restitution, big restitution for that guy whose life was ruined because of a lie, because somebody told a lie. And it's like, and also misidentification. Somebody swears that this guy committed a crime because he looks like the guy who committed the crime, and then he's exonerated because of DNA evidence or because newfound evidence. So this guy's life is over. This guy's life is screwed up because he was convicted and put in prison, and he didn't do anything, but everyone thought he did something because somebody misidentified him. So these are things that really happen, and it's scary because somebody could look like somebody, and they'll swear that was the guy who assaulted me. That was the guy who robbed me. But it wasn't. It's just a guy who looks like the guy who robbed said victim. So let me know in the comments what you think about that. These are things that I think about. The axe falls on the wrong person, which kind of blows me away and troubles me to a great degree. This is a show that uplifts. I think that's just a paradox. I should call this the paradox show. This is a paradox. I want to uplift people. I want to make people laugh. I want people to share jokes. But then as I sit here, passing the time away, I start to think about things. Justice, injustice. Hearing about women who contributed to society, but somebody else takes the credit. There are men who created something, who thought up an idea. The guy who was saying that if you wash your hands, it's healthier, that guy was put into a mental institution and beaten to death because he was saying that if you wash your hands, you will prevent diseases from passing on. You will prevent sickness from passing on if you wash your hands. And they put him in a mental asylum and beat him to death. He died because of his beatings, which is some other stuff that I think about. These backwards things. And here we're watching the Teletubbies, we're watching the Brady Bunch, we're watching Leave It to Beaver, we're watching Stranger Things. You know, and it kind of gives us a perspective of how life is. We watch, well, these are shows that I watched as a kid, and then you watch the real world, and you wonder, how is it all possible? How is it all possible that Johnny and Susie get on a school bus, go to school, learn their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s, and come home and eat their TV dinner, you know, do their homework, go to bed after taking a bath. And while all that is going on in the world, it's like trying to separate. But then again, I believe in the observer effect. I believe that, you know, your reality is not the same as the reality of of a certain area. You know, certain things go on in certain areas that don't go on in your area, but they pipe it into your living room. They pipe into your living room what's going on in Gaza, you know, what's going on in the Ukraine, and what's going on in Mexico, you know, what's going on. It gets piped into your, so then there's that awareness of, hola, hello, good day. I didn't know somebody was listening. So, and I got a like out of it. How about that? My mind wanders, and I try to verbalize where my mind wanders to. Oh, from Turkey. Okay. Like. Well, cool. The world gets smaller and smaller, doesn't it? I had a friend who was from Turkey. We would sit at his house and talk. I am from the U.S., from the United States of America. So that's where, well, cool. It's starting to get around. Well, cool. Now I can brag about having somebody from Turkey, a friend from Turkey. I had some people from the Oh, you're an engineer. Cool. My brother works with engineers. All right. Well, now people will know about your YouTube channel because they'll see this your logo. So you've liked my channel, or you found it. Well, that's cool. Welcome, welcome. I'm getting some Facebook alerts. That's what that ding is. So that's cool that you found me. I found you also. We're talking. We're chatting and chatting. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I like your smiley face. A colon and 2 dots. There we go. Play a little flute music. No problem. I like this. Before I was using the horizontal version. Arodia Field. No, I'm pretty new to a lot of this stuff. I'm starting to learn, what do they call it? Slang. People are teaching me slang. And like Gyat website, Berry website. So you can probably plug your website. Tell people about about your. That's all right. I can still understand. Welcome to the party. I'm out here across from my window. That's all right. So we've got. Looks like the sun is starting to come out from behind the clouds. You did, Calby? Cably. Last year. So welcome, welcome. So I'm working up my subscribers. I guess people are going to start subscribing more, and they'll be able to tell when I'm coming on as a stream or in a stream. Oh, okay. I see. So that's like Rosetta Stone. There's a lot of ones that are like that. The courses that you can take. Rocket English and Rocket Japanese. It's like they're courses. Yeah, you could take them online. There's also Babbel. I hear about Babbel. They're like a course that you could take to learn. Sometimes just having conversations, you learn a lot. Like how to properly construct sentences. Because like Latin, you say, instead of saying orange juice, you say juice of orange. Things like that. Or how goes it to you? That's how they say in German, it's how goes it to you? Wie geht es Ihnen? Well, great. We'll be able to learn together. We could help each other with our proper pronunciations. Oh, you like it? My accent? That's interesting. Like people from Australia or people from the UK, they speak with their own accents. Well, cool. I'll just keep talking then. All right. I guess it takes a while to get used to how someone talks, and once you do, you understand right away after listening to them for a little while. Everyone has their own way of speaking, like their dialect and which state they're from. Somebody from New York speaks differently than somebody from Georgia, or somebody from California or Maine. People from Maine have a different accent, but it's still the same language. So here we are. We got. Sometimes people laugh at a fart joke. So we'll try to see what makes people laugh here. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Google is like a master computer. We can all just. That's how my brother and I both do that. We'll just say, like, if you want to know how to take apart a car, or how, or like yesterday we were doing Asperger's, the symptoms of Asperger's. And as my brother was reading them off, I was starting to notice a lot of stuff about my mother. I wonder how much, whether I have Asperger's or not. Also, autism. Autism is another thing. People are discovering this whole new condition. Whether or not people are diagnosed with it, having having autism or having Asperger's or having Tourette's. Tourette's is more pronounced. You can tell right away who has it. It's weird how people, if they don't look like they have a handicap, if they don't look like they have an illness, then people think they don't have an illness. Like dyslexia. I've got dyslexia, and it makes it hard for me to read and remember and understand what I read. And you wouldn't know by looking at me. You'd definitely notice if I tried to read something. So how are things over there? Things pretty peaceful? Things are kind of peaceful here. I like peaceful, even though they don't show much peace on TV or on the internet. Sometimes on the internet we see a lot of uh, commotion, see a lot of fighting going on. But there are some places where it's pretty peaceful. So I'm learning when to talk and when not to talk. Learning how to be quiet. Oh, they did. A lot of earthquakes are happening. Earthquakes and tsunamis. And, oh, the economy is bad. It's the same here too. I guess we need to start adapting. There's not a lot of adapting going on because the economy, it's all based on money, and money is starting to lose its worth, and people have lost their worth. I say any advice I can give to you is don't be disturbed, don't be upset, because as the day goes by, things do get better. You know, things aren't always as scary as they seem, and don't worry about things too much, because that's one thing that's got me is worrying. You know, there's a lot of time I could have gotten back if I didn't worry so much, and things aren't as scary as they seem most of the time. Most of the time, it's not as because sometimes we get scared by what we see. Sometimes we get scared by what could happen. You know what? I think that's what it is. Is we as individuals um, are capable of not being affected by the people around us. You know, just by decisions we make, how we choose to spend our time. Because I've been noticing that. You know, sometimes we get caught up in the collective consciousness, you know, and we think we have to go the way of the herd, but it's not always true. It's hard to do, though. It's hard not to get caught up in other people, caught up in what other people are doing. And I know the media is a real big offender. We're always looking at what's going on with the Kardashians, what's going on with Taylor Swift, what's going on in Bosnia, you know, and how far away are we from Bosnia? How far away are we from New York? When something happens in New York, they're telling us about what's happening in New York, but we respond to it as it's happening to us. So it's like it's dangerous. It's dangerous to show somebody some horrors because we take it in and our bodies are affected by what we see, if that makes sense. Like when you look at a picture of a sunset, you know, you feel it feels, or you look at pictures of butterflies or puppy dogs, you know, um, you're affected. You feel better. Your heart beats differently. But then when you're shown the horrors of war, that those pictures are taken in, and we're affected negatively. And I think that's what we need to watch is what we look at. Oh yeah, because I've been noticing that too. It's like why should I be scared of something that's happening on the other side of the country? You know, um, it's enough for them. You know, I feel sorry for the people it's happening to, but I guess unless we're sending money, unless we're sending support, I think that's what it is. We need to turn it around whenever we are having, whenever there's a problem somewhere. Don't focus on the problem. Focus on what you can do to make it better. I think we all feel better when we're making a problem better. We're taking a problem and we're improving on it. You know, like trash. If we could get up and pick up trash, or if we could start saying nice things to each other, we can make a difference. We can focus on a positive outcome and then make a positive outcome. And I think, I don't know, because we're all conditioned to be negative, I think. We're all conditioned to, there's a car accident, you know, or there somebody got shot, you know. We hear about that all the time on the news. That's right, love. Handing people love, caring about, that's something the world lacks now, it seems, is love. Imagine if there was love, there wouldn't be a lot of Well, thank you. I hope I'm doing something. See, this can be a show that uplifts, as long as I'm not focusing on the problem. Because I think that's what we do. We see a problem. Yeah. If you see a problem, then there's a problem. If you see, it's almost crazy. It's crazy to the average person. The average person goes, "Wow, why are you smiling? Why are you, um, why are you kind?" And it's like, why not be kind? I'm part of the solution, not the problem. Because it's like you can change a guy's whole day just by being kind, just by smiling, you know, just by giving somebody some water. Even in the animal kingdom, I've noticed that, like there's videos. Yvette, Yvette, that's a new word to me. So true means Yvette, or Yvette means true? I think that's what it is. We're all trained to see a problem and be troubled by it. When we see a tragedy or hear about a tragedy, we instead of helping the person going through it, we go, "Oh my God, I'm glad that wasn't me." Sometimes we just have to catch ourselves. We have to say, "Wait a minute, it's not as bad as it seems." Because life is only as good as your next decision. Because when you make a decision, you can change. You can change that tragic or stop it altogether. Sometimes people stop crimes before they happen, or they help somebody, because sometimes it's too late. All you can do is react, but it's how you react. You probably already know this. You just needed to hear somebody else say it. so so how are who else is here? There's Kandemir. I think that's how it's said. Kandemir. And then there's Article. I see a kid. Oh, so you're 13. If you're still here, I think you're still here. Yeah, that's another thing I can say is always look for the truth. Because sometimes the truth, you think you have the truth until later on you discover something else is true. I think that's what I've been doing all my life is trying to find the truth. What is the truth? And never accept things the way they are. I think that's a good slogan. Life is only good as your next decision. You can make your life a lot better if you make a different decision. Like if somebody says something bad to you, and you decide not to let them win, because they say that about the enemy. The enemy wins when you do what they want you to do. Then the enemy wins. Don't let the enemy make you angry. Don't let the enemy make you scared or upset. Sometimes you can make a friend. You can make a friend out of an enemy just by the next thing you do. Or don't do what they expect you to do. You will sleep? Okay. Thank you for joining me. It was good talking to you. And have good sleep. Have a good. Oh yeah, I can tell. Yeah, depending on where you're at, it's probably 11 or 10 o'clock at night. In the UK, it's like that too. It's like there's a 5-hour difference. Okay, cool. Now I can say there's somebody from Turkey that I've made friends with. Because there's a guy from the Netherlands, a guy from the UK, some people from the UK. So yeah, this is getting to be like a worldwide show. See you later. So we'll see who's here now. We're an hour and 35 minutes. So an hour and a half. Have a great day. See you later. Sayonara. Do svidanya. That's how they say it in Russian. Do svidanya. You have a nice day also. Auf Wiedersehen. That's how you say it in German. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Auf Wiedersehen. Bonsoir. Bonsoir, mon frère. Flowers and tea. A cup of tea. So we've got... so cool, we're forming friendships by way of the internet. So now, who's here now? Who's with us? I see a number 1, which means there's probably 2 people. So, da-da. Anything you want to do it. If you want to change the world, there's really nothing to it. There is no life I know, living in a world of pure imagination. There's another song I want to record in my memory. Hello and welcome. We'll see who else joins. If we wait long enough, if we get patient, I can start treating this like a telethon. Kingdom of Pets website. The link is in the description. Check it out. My nose is getting red. That's weird. It's itching. Maybe that's a sign of some kind. Article. So now I'll remember that logo. I think that's article is the one, yeah. So maybe we'll talk more. That's one cool thing about having a photographic memory is all these, whoops, what's going down here? There we go, we're back. Well, maybe I can start earlier from now on. So people in Turkey will not have to be so late. So late. Yeah, the economy. All my life I've noticed the economy has had its ups and downs. And it's kind of, I guess those rhythms. That's another Hermetic principle is rhythms. once you start to study rhythms and patterns, you don't become a victim of the rhythms or patterns. You'll know when to store up. You'll know when to build up. But sometimes it's just faith. A lot of it's faith. You just have to have faith because things don't go the way you planned them to. But then again, you could get the good side of that also. You get money that you didn't plan on having. You get a place to live that you didn't plan on. But the universe is a mirror. I keep hearing that. Whatever's going on inside of you is what's going on outside of you. And most of it is just you. When you stop being troubled inside yourself, you stop sending out those impressions, those signals. If you're peaceful inside, the world around you is peaceful. I think what it is don't get so caught up in what's coming from the outside in. Most of the time you can protect yourself from what's from the outside in. But it's very hard to protect yourself from the inside out, because what's coming from the inside out is something only you can control. Only you can control what's from the inside out, because that's cause and effect. That's one of the Hermetic principles, cause and effect. Don't let the cause affect you, and be aware of the effect. Yeah. Don't be affected by the cause, and don't cause the effect. Do not cause the effect, and do not be affected by the cause if it's bad. If somebody is being kind to you, accept it. If somebody is saying something kind to you, accept it. But if somebody is being unkind to you, do not accept it. Because once you accept it, then you are being affected. You are being affected. If you accept someone's cruelty, someone's rudeness, if you accept their effect, then you're affected. But then make sure that your cause is affecting someone else, because you can change somebody who is being rude to you. If you are kind in return, they can be affected by your kindness. They can be affected by your kindness. And I'm sure you already know that. Sometimes we need to hear someone else say it. There are a lot of things we already know. But sometimes it adds validity, it adds gravitas when you hear someone else say it. Because then you know it's not just you. It's not just you who thinks this way or who knows this. I think that's a good way to look at cause and effect. The principle of cause and effect. Do not cause an effect that is not beneficial, and do not let someone cause you to be affected. A lot of it's wisdom. You have to rely on your intuition. Wow, every time I touch my nose gets redder and redder. I'm getting this itchy nose. The tip of my nose is itching. There we go. That looks a little less like I've been drinking. The gin blossoms. There we go. Well, it's 1:45, and I still have 2 dots left on my battery backup. So we'll see who pops in today. If you want to view paradise, simply look around and view it. If you want to change the world, there's really nothing to it. There is no life I know, living in a world of pure imagination. That's a song I went at. There's so many songs that I would love to rehearse and sing. My dear lady, we are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of the dreams. I think that's what happens to us right away. We are disempowered. We are disempowered from the get-go, from the word go. We are disempowered. We are conditioned not to have any choice in the matter. We have to work, pay taxes, and die. That's what we're forced to do. We're forced to work, pay taxes, and die. But I think it's what makes the difference is what you do in between. From the cradle to the grave, what do you do between birth and death? That thing between birth and death is called life. And what we're told is work, pay taxes, and die. But they don't want you to die on your terms. They do not want you to die on, God forbid you commit suicide. You better not die. You're supposed to die, but you better not die when they don't want you to die. They want you to die when you can't live anymore. They want you to die when you can't live anymore. Physically can't live anymore. That's when they want you to die. Because death is bad for the economy. Death is bad for the medical industry. Death is bad for the IRS and for the... Death is bad. If you think about it, it's bad for the the interests. The interests. It's bad for the government. It's bad for the state. It's bad. If you die, it's bad because you can't work, pay taxes, and die. If you decide you want to die, which makes me laugh, if you decide you want to die, you can't because it's not on their schedule. It's not, dying is not, if it's not on their schedule, you're supposed to die. Eventually you die and someone else is born into your place. But not if it's not on their schedule. That's why they don't want suicide, because it's not on their schedule. It's not on their schedule if you commit suicide or if you kill someone. If you kill someone, it's not on their schedule. They want you to live until you can't live anymore, because then you can't work, pay taxes. See, it's that work, pay taxes, and die. It interrupts that paradigm. It interrupts that that timeline. It interrupts the timeline. And if you interrupt the timeline by killing yourself or killing someone else, you're working, paying taxes, and dying, but not on their schedule. They want you to keep living because then you keep paying taxes and you keep working. If you can't work anymore, then you starve to death. And this is just how I think. This is any intelligent person would look at society and realize you're not on your own schedule. You can't decide when you die. Some countries, they have doctor-assisted suicide, but it has to be you have to be a terminal illness. You have to have a terminal illness. You have to have a terminal illness or a psychiatric evaluation. You can't just decide you don't want to live anymore. And that's and I think that's why I'm piecing together all this in my own head. Because I guess the human mind has to rationalize. The human mind has to come up with a reason why. And that's basically it for the human being. Work, pay taxes, and die. But you can't plan that schedule. You can't die until you die. You can't die until their agenda is fulfilled. Their agenda is you work, you pay taxes, you consume. Work, pay taxes, consume. Because if you don't consume, you're not helping the economy. You're not helping the economy if you're not consuming. Because you pay taxes on the gas you buy, the clothes you buy. You're paying taxes all day long. But then you have to pay taxes on your income. They tax your income by how much income you make. They take taxes on that too. So if you're not buying things, you're not paying taxes. If you're not earning money, you're not paying taxes. If you're not alive, you're not paying taxes. So work, pay taxes, and die. And I'm just driving this home because it's like, you can't decide to die. You cannot decide. That's not in the car. It's non-negotiable. You can't decide when you want to die. You have to live until you can't live anymore. Meanwhile, you're buying things, you're consuming, you're a consumer. Without consumers, the economy doesn't work. And we're losing consumers, aren't we, with the homeless situation? The homeless situation, we are spitting in the face of the economy. We're spitting in the face of the economy because actually it's kind of like you can't if you don't have a place to live, you're not paying rent. If you're not paying rent, property taxes don't get paid. The economy is destroying itself because if a guy can't pay rent, no rent is being paid. The economy is destroying itself. It's self-destructing. You know, if people can't go buy food, then the economy is destroying itself. The people can't go and buy food because they don't have any money. They don't have enough money. They have enough money for rent, but they don't have enough money for their gas, for their food, so they can't get to work, so they lose their job. They can't afford their car insurance, so they can't drive their car to work. So it's kind of structured to self-destruct. Any intelligent person would oh, you're back. I did miss. Well, what? Oh, you missed me bullshitting. You just missed me going on and on about logical thinking and working, paying taxes, and dying. Because they say they left out the work part. They say you pay taxes and die. That's right, capitalism, late stage. Because it is, I mean, when you look at the rising and falling of empires, when you look at the rising and falling of civilizations, um, there's a time when the civilization starts out, and there's a time when it booms. Look at the Roaring Twenties. We went from the Roaring Twenties to the 30s, which is the Depression, and then wartime. It's just clusterfuck. It's a series of clusterfucks and yellow shitstorms, and when you're not having a clusterfuck, which is now, I call this a clusterfuck, their rent is too high for people to afford. So the economy is imploding. The economy is imploding, collapsing, because if you don't have a home, you can't store the things you consumed. You don't have a refrigerator. That's right, and that increases the speed between that timeline between birth and death. That thing between birth and death is life, and life is sucked out of us. We have no real life. People are at work. They're unhappy at work. They're not doing what they like to do for work, and which causes us to vibrate at a lower frequency. We're unhappy, we're sad, we're scared, we're depressed, and those are all low vibrating frequencies. And I guess the best way is to just go from house to house and say, "Could you feed me lunch? Could you feed me breakfast? Could you feed me dinner? Could you give me a sleeping bag?" You know, just live like a hermit. Live like a hermit, and you'd probably be happier because you're not stressed out about whether or not you have a home. You're not stressed out about paying whether or not you could pay bills, and you'd probably start vibrating at a higher frequency, and then you start attracting things to you because there's that tune fork analogy. If two forks, the other tune fork will vibrate at the same frequency as the other tune fork. So when you start tuning other people, you know, because you're a tune fork that's vibrating at the right frequency. I think they did this study with a monk. They put a monk in a community, and the community actually improved because this monk was vibrating at the right frequency. This monk's mind, body, mannerisms. Because if you're shitting on people all day, you're just going to cause more tune forks to vibrate at that frequency. Like Buddha says, the one candle can light 1,000 candles. You can just take. It's just a matter of time. You know, and I think that's why the media is barfing up all this sadness, all this war. It's to keep us all vibrating at that frequency. Because when you're at a low frequency, it's easy to control you. When you're sad, it's easy to control you. When you're upset and disappointed and depressed, it's easy to control you. But they say you can't keep a good man down. If someone is happy all the time, if someone is productive because they're doing what they want to do, they're not so caught up in what's in it for me, then that's right. That's right. Just that you can be, and you know what? You inspire others. You inspire. I've been told that from time to time. Yes, division based on race, based on income, based on status, based on division. When you're separate, um, you vibrate at a lower frequency also. You're vibrating at a very low frequency when you're all by yourself. That's what causes my depression. I get depressed because I'm not interacting with other people. I'm not that tune fork. Yes, gender. Oh God. Gender is one of the Hermetic principles. Male and female. There's male and female in all of the dimensions. And what's hard is confusing gender. When you confuse gender, um, like when you fill out an application, I just filled out one yesterday, and they ask you, "Are you male or female?" You know, it's like, okay, how can we properly administer to you? How can we properly interact with you if we don't know your gender, or if we're confused about your gender? Because if we want to send you some products, if we want to send you some clothes, how can if you send a woman's clothes to a male, that's going to confuse, that's going to upset, because a male, most males won't wear women's clothes. Most males and females, I don't think a lot of females can't feel feminine when they're wearing male clothes. So that causes confusion, you know. Or some medicines, I guess, are based on your gender. You don't send a guy birth control pills. You don't send a woman condoms. You know, that would confuse the hell out of, population control. You know, if someone walks in to a family, what do they call it? Planned Parenthood, and says they say what's your gender, and you don't tell them, they don't know how to help you. You know, do you have a pole or a hole? You know, you have either or. And if you're saying I've learned lately there are people who are non-binary. There are people born without certain equipment, or they're born with certain equipment, but it's so anyway, and they're not hermaphrodites. They're not male and female. They're either male or female. So I think more things need to be considered. More things need to be gender and sexuality. Gender and sexuality um, needs to be addressed. But then again, what were you when you were born? I'm probably going to get executed, talking about this stuff. But it's kind of like be reasonable, you know, because gay and lesbian have been around for years and years, you know, and but now it's accepted, you know, because there was a time when people really caught a lot of flack if if their sexuality didn't jive, you know. Even today, people suffer because of their sexuality, not just their gender. And but again, the pendulum swings both ways. That's another Hermetic principle: is polarity. You know, to what degree? You know, all truths are half truths. You know, there are no absolutes, and I think that's what we need to be teaching. Is these Hermetic principles go back to Egypt? They go back to, I think, even before Egypt. Like, what was the other one? Atlantis. I think Socrates, Plato, one of them were talking about Atlantis. You know, but then we have physical evidence of. Well, we have physical evidence of Atlantis. There was a sunken city, sunken civilization. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and it's like, why? And that's another division. The division between not only genders but sexuality. And people are the Plato. Yeah, he was talking about Atlantis, and And even Hindi, you read the Hindi texts, they talk about amazing powers that were wielded, you know, in war, and also miracles. Even the Christian Bible, even um, even the Jewish texts, they talk about um, Moses, Elijah, these prophets having amazing powers, and but then again, from birth, what are we told from birth? You know that there's no telekinesis, there's no telepathy. But then again, if you believe it's not possible, then there, well, what do you have? What do you have? You have something that's impossible. But then again, when you read texts, when you discover what is possible, it's mind blowing. It's like how many times have they lied to us just to keep us and made us afraid, made us worried, made us scared? A lot of people who went to war, yeah, it's only fantasy. Yeah, when you go and watch Star Wars and you watch Luke Skywalker and Yoda and Darth Vader, uh, where there's smoke, there's fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Um, how would we even know it exists? How would we even know that telekinesis exists? Whether in our imagination or in real time, if if it didn't happen, you know. And also, if you ever watch Escape from Witch Mountain, there was a Disney show when I was growing up called Escape from Witch Mountain. They were using telekinesis in that show. The kid would play the harmonica, and things would start flying around the room, and puppets were dancing on their own. So there's two counts, two separate counts. George Lucas and Walt Disney. Okay, they're both basically describing, depicting telekinesis. Yeah, Escape from Witch Mountain. It's about two kids. You know, Eddie Albert was in it, the guy on Green Acres. But it's like, okay, if it doesn't exist, then why is it in our imagination? You know, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. And I find your lack of faith disturbing. And that's what it takes is faith. We've lost faith. It seems like we've lost, unless we can prove it, we don't want to waste our time with it. Have you noticed that? It's like science is the new religion. Science is proving things so that we'll believe it. Yes, mutants. Yeah. Okay. Then if it doesn't exist, then why are we why is it in our art? Why is it in our movies? If it didn't exist, pyrokinesis, I've seen pyrokinesis where people uh, they they can just cause things to burst into flames, which is pretty cool. Because if you're out in the wilderness and you need to start a fire, you could just start a fire, pyrokinesis. Telepathy, I've experienced telepathy, and it's basically we can send and receive thoughts. We can do that. You don't. We're all psychic to a degree. Some people just actually hone their abilities. After a while, you know, you can tell somebody think of a number, and you're able to send and receive thoughts. And I think we use words to convey, because I think we devolved. We're probably really advanced beings, but it would be interesting to do an experiment to get like a group of people who are just ignorant of everything, and see how different they would be. Because even in the Congo, in the Amazon, Yes, a lot of people talk about source, you know, source and sorcery. Okay, sorcery was a term from the Greeks. Okay, sorcery um, meant to bind the fates. Okay, you had the weaver, no, the spinner, the weaver, and the cutter. And a lot of people would try to work with the fates because they bound or they controlled destiny. You know, so that's where you get sorcery from. You're going to the fates, and you're asking them to basically re redo the fabric of life, and so and source. What's to say that source? We're basically working with source. You know, where does everything come from? Where do we come from? We come from a source. You know, people say source, God, whatever you want to call it, and it's kind of yeah, and it's like wow, how many of us are under that spell, the written spells? Because you see the power of just J.K. Rowling when she wrote Harry Potter. There were or Gene Roddenberry when he was writing the script for Star Trek. You know, the power of writing and how people it affects reality. It affects it to a great degree. You know, because you got people even today. There's conventions. There's Star Trek conventions. There's Klingon. Klingon people are learning Klingon, and you know it's all because somebody thought of it. You know, which proves the first Hermetic principle: the all is mind, the universe is mental. These people, Star Wars. There's people who are into Star Wars. You can actually go to Disneyland and experience Star Wars in this reality because George Lucas wrote a script for Star Wars. He wrote the books first, you know. So that's evidence of the power of writing and the power of speaking. You can fill a stadium with people who want to hear someone talk, you know. Rob Proctor, Tony Robbins, you know, Neville Goddard, you know, these people are speaking and this is how this guy's livelihood, you know, and also generations, you know, people now are talking about Neville Goddard's teachings, you know, and all he did was he just held lectures. People showed up to his lectures and he would teach people firsthand Hogwarts and Star Wars land. Yeah, if you think about that, that's kind of like, wow, this is a good outlet for me. I like that that people can listen to me just talk about stuff. And so it's interesting. Also, the spoken word, like I was just talking about, um, whether you write down things, it's still a language. And they say, and God said, "Let there be light," and God said, you know, "Let there be the firmament between light, you know, light and darkness." And even in Hindi, you know, Om, they say that was the first evidence of God was that sound. You know, sound was God's first evidence because God existed, but then we didn't know God existed until sound, until the Om. And even to this day, Om is how they begin their prayers. Om, Om Namah Shivaya. Whenever they call out to their deities, they start out with Om, you know. And if you sit in a room by yourself and just go, Om, it changes things. You know, the energy in the room, your outlook, you know. So let me know if I'm getting too loud because I get passionate sometimes. And so, yeah, we can just ponder this stuff. You know, how powerful are we as individuals and how powerful are we collectively? I think, you know what, on my community, when you click on community on my channel, there's a guy giving a lecture about the collective consciousness, about things coming to pass. If more people think about something, Just like Disneyland, Disney didn't do it on his own. He had the Imagineers. And isn't it funny? He called them Imagineers. It does. Yeah. And you know what? We have to figure out what our own resistance is. Sometimes we get resistant to love. We get resistant to kindness. We get resistant to compliments. I've noticed that with myself. People will compliment me, and it's like I should let that affect me more. I should allow that to affect me. When somebody says you're eloquent, you're insightful, you know, um, you make me laugh, take that to heart because it's from the outside in. It's not your ego. It is someone else paying you a compliment. And sometimes we need to receive compliments, and I think we'll be less depressed. That's how I base my existence. Like when someone says you're a warrior, when someone says you're smart, you know, or that's them telling me. It's not me telling myself. So there's more validity. It's more valid when you hear somebody else tell you. But then you got to not put on that armor. When someone says you're stupid, that should bounce off. You know, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to accept you calling me stupid. Don't even call yourself stupid, because that self talk, because you realize your own voice, you recognize your own voice, and there's no resistance to your own voice. I was watching this poor girl on YouTube last night, and she was saying, "I hate myself. I hate my body." It's like, wow, you are self-inflicting. That's self-inflicted, and it's horrible. It cuts deeper when you say things to yourself. You know, it's like you have no resistance. Yeah, just look in the mirror and say, "I love you. I love you." You just have to start doing. Like I talk about the quantum leap. You have to just start doing it. Don't figure out a reason why to love yourself. Don't say, why should I love myself? Just start doing it. I heard somebody say, treat yourself like someone you love. You know, it's like, yeah, do that. Treat yourself like someone you love. Could you imagine how much nicer life would be if you started to forgive yourself like someone you love? I think that's what's the hardest thing, is to forgive yourself. Because what's horrible is we know ourselves. We know if we're trying. We know if we're bullshitting people. We know if we're just putting on a show. And it's hard when we disappoint ourselves, because we're seeing past all that. We're seeing our true selves. We have that X-ray vision into our soul, and then when we fail, yeah, and it's like if we accept more good things when we're positive, and it's about being acceptant and not, hey, how you doing? We're part awkward jackal. So now you must love yourself before you. Yeah, that's right. Because then again, you know what love feels like, genuine love. Because if you just begin, take that quantum leap into loving yourself, then you start to know you're worthy of love, in spite of your mistakes, in spite of your disappointments, the times when you disappoint yourself, the times when you disappoint another person. Uh, you just have to forgive. You know, I've been learning about the. I know I've been sitting here for a while, haven't I? I did another one before this. There was, and then I got hungry and had to eat, so I started another one, another stream, and I guess this is good therapy. Good for me to just whatever is in here needs to come out of here, you know, and just start to realize how much power we have when we speak to ourselves and when we speak to other people, because it's like life and death. I think the Bible says that, you know, we hold the power of life and death in our mouths, in our tongues. That's right. Yeah. For if ye forgive not men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will not forgive you. If ye forgive men their trespasses, your heavenly Father will also forgive you. So it's like, wow, you've got to forgive. If you want to get anywhere with God, if you want to get anywhere with your neighbor, it's like, because I was just thinking about the Navajo. The Navajo don't have a word for sorry or I'm sorry. They say, hey, you got to forgive me. That's all there is to it. You've got to forgive, because then you're releasing yourself and the person when you forgive. That's why you need to say, okay, be careful what you do. It's better when it's easily forgiven. You know, do things that are easily forgiven, because it's harder, because a person has trouble healing. A person has trouble letting go when you do something so bad. You know, but then again, it varies with person. You know, from if somebody were to punch me in the side of the head and cause me to lose my eyeball, that would be hard to forgive. But if somebody just farts or says the F word, you know, that's kind of easy to forgive. And I guess it varies from person to person. The biggest test is, what will you forgive? Because that's the first thing I like to do when somebody tries to bring up something that they did to me. You know, just forgive them. You know, no big deal, because it's only a block. You're only hindering your growth and their growth when you don't forgive. What hurts me is to hear is like, I'll never forgive him. You know, I will never forgive him for what he did. He didn't show up for my birthday, and I'll never forgive him. You know, he cheated on me. My best friend cheated on me, and I'll never forgive him. It's like, really? Never? If you're standing before God and God says, well, you got to forgive him. And it's like, will you? If you start seeing the fires of hell, or if you start seeing that separation, you know, I don't know. What's it worth to you to forgive? But it's like, and also, if you can do something that doesn't require forgiveness, like that one story, love means never having to say you're sorry. You know, sometimes you better say you're sorry. If you love, you better say you're sorry. Because some people are just waiting for you to say, I'm sorry, and then they can forgive you. Because you can forgive, but then will it do any good? You know, I always want to know that I'm doing good if I'm going to forgive somebody. I don't want them to punch me in the head again. Or, you know, I don't know. Wow, I'm starting to run out of words to say. So we got, so Awkward Jackal, I guess is he still here? Some people I can't tell who are still here. I just see a 0 up there. How about that? 2 hours. 2 hours I've been sitting here talking about working, paying taxes, and dying. Talking about the itch on the edge of my nose. I guess I'll get some peroxide. Not sure. How sure are any of us? So do we talk about asteroids more? We start talking about asteroids. That's kind of scary when they talk about asteroids and comets. If an asteroid didn't burn up in our atmosphere, if it struck the Earth, Halley's Comet, still here. Thank you for still being here. It's amazing how many people drop off. Some people only have a little bit of time. You know, they only have time to pop in and say hi before they go back to their job or their school. Because school will kill you. I think that's what it is. A school is a cookie cutter attempt. They think everybody learns the same way. They think everybody is interested in the same things. I think school should be an elective. You know, if you want to learn underwater basket weaving, if you want to learn ventriloquism, you know, if you want to learn how to play a violin, then you should go and learn. You know, you shouldn't be forced to go to school. If you want to learn math, if you want to learn how to read, if you want to learn how to write, then you just show up for the class. If you don't want to learn how to write, oh, okay. That happens sometimes. I think I might have to go for a little bathroom break. What I can do is, what I need to do is get a bobblehead. Set a bobblehead here. So when I'm going to the bathroom, you can watch the bobblehead. Yeah, because that way we all have the same, we all understand what we're reading and writing. Because otherwise, how could we? How could we just pick up a book and learn from it? I just have my idea of what school should be. It should be a building where learn what you want to learn. You know, because some people just want to go ahead and work, you know. Right when I got out of high school, you know, I wanted to work. The first thing, just start working until you can't work anymore. Then you just then you have to find another way to make money. It does, yeah. Well, thank you for coming by, Awkward Jekyll. Hopefully you don't feel outed. I don't want you to feel outed because we're just talking about stuff. So some people have to go, and yeah, wouldn't that be neat? Because if you're doing everything you really like doing, yep, that's a good point. Follow your passion. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. While you're sitting in front of a chalkboard or sitting in front of a computer, you know, it's like, how could you follow your passion if you spend all day in school? I think if they made school something that you want to do, you know, I want to learn math because I'm going to be a cashier. You know, I want to learn math because I want to. I learned that in college. In college, a lot of people, they don't know what their major is going to be. You know, nothing really takes them. You know, nothing really grabs their attention. I think that's what it is. First of all, find your passion. That should be the first thing. Like if your passion is fishing, if your passion is painting, if your passion is writing books, then you just show up for a book writing class so you can know the basics, so you can know advanced, if you want to stay longer to learn a lot more. Because forcing people to sit in a room together and pass notes to each other and pass gas and tell jokes and throw paper airplanes, that's not a good use of state money, because I think schools are funded by the state, and it's like, there's your free education. Your free education is up until grade 12 or 12th grade, and then after that, you just basically get you a job at McDonald's or Burger King or Taco Bell, or take over your daddy's business or your mom's business if you want to do what your dad did. So I think a lot more thought needs to be, it can't be a cookie cutter approach, because not everybody is interested in history. Not everybody is interested in chemistry. But for those who are interested in chemistry, those classes should just be available. But yeah, or maybe they do. They want to collect Pokemon. They want to play video games, or they want to dip ponytails into inkwells. Whatever the hell they want to do as kids, as a 5-year-old kid. And I noticed college age is around 20, because you take a break from high school. I think that's the best way to go, because again, not everybody is the same. Not everybody has an interest in history or in writing. Because me, I'd be more of a speaker than a writer. And then there are a lot of people who are a lot more writers than they are speakers. Some people are terrified to stand in front of a crowd up on a stage and start talking about things. Some people have really good ideas and they express them better in writing than they do in speaking, or painting. I've seen some awesome painters. I want to give credit to the girl in Jurassic Park. After Jurassic Park, she started painting, and if you saw some of her paintings, you'd be amazed. I forget what her name was, but she was that blonde girl in Jurassic Park. They were showing some of her paintings, and then there's music. Music is another avenue, another way people can really appreciate art. Karolina Pastenko. She was a Ukraine girl who plays violin. You know who I'm talking about? Yeah, have you seen that? The painter? Pretty cool. Carolina, she just starts playing her violin, and people start bringing money to her, start dropping money into the container she uses. And it's like now she's on YouTube getting all this YouTube press. It's like, yeah, just start out like me, telling jokes and talking about stuff. I'm going to put a donation link, my PayPal account, so I can get... That's right, happy little accidents. Rob Ross, he would say that, just a happy little accident. I think he's the most made fun of guy, one of the most, Rob Ross. He used to be a drill instructor in the Army. Rob Ross, he said that's why he speaks so softly, because he got so tired of yelling at people. He doesn't like to yell at people, but as a drill instructor he had to do that. So that's why Rob Ross speaks softly and gently, talks about his happy little accidents. I had a t-shirt that said that. It had Rob Ross on it. Oop, another happy little accident. Yeah, happy little accidents. I kind of like looking out this window. Right across from me, there's a window. That's right. He's stuck to it, didn't he? He's always spoken very softly. He's a very talented painter. I like those nature scenes that he does. Some Russian ladies, they put together jigsaw puzzles, really nice looking jigsaw puzzles, and they frame them. They put a sticky back, they put it onto an adhesive surface, and and then they use them as paintings. They hang them, which I think is pretty cool. I think this woman did it with her daughter. Her and her daughter would put together these jigsaw puzzles, really nice, like garden, picture of a garden, or mountains and things like that. You know what? I think it is. I think it is because it comes from our imagination. And when we see something in our imagination, we're looking into another dimension. I'm almost certain because like when I imagine something, I'm in that dimension. I was noticing that this morning when uh, I was in a dream, and it turned out to be an lucid dream. That a lucid dream was I was at the back end of an aircraft. The aircraft was taking off, and it was like I was in real time. So it's like maybe we are popping in and out of other dimensions. Because if you can see it, feel it, smell it, your senses are affected, then I think that's what it is when you draw a picture, when you create a character. They say on the astral plane, you're able to encounter fictitious creatures, you know, like Scooby Doo or the Lucky Charms leprechaun. They say on the astral plane those things actually exist. Fairies, angels, you know. Uh, so yeah, maybe we are looking into another dimension. We have that ability to do that. Yeah, that's right. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Hey, kids! SpongeBob SquarePants. One thing I wish they wouldn't have taken away was the Pizza Hut. There was a Pizza Hut. They had TV screens, and they would play SpongeBob on those TV screens. It was really nice. I really miss Pizza Hut. There was a Pizza Hut right across from the place I went to eat. Bikini Bottom. Bikini Bottom is real. That's right. Bikini Bottom. Who else? Sonic the Hedgehog. I think Sonic the Hedgehog is pretty pretty popular now. Jim Carrey played one of the characters. So I think that's two kids movies that Jim Carrey did. He did The Grinch and Sonic the Hedgehog. So what else? Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? Sometimes you could just say that in a crowd. Just stand there and say, who lives in a pineapple under the sea? And then be quiet and listen for people to say, SpongeBob. Because a lot of people grew up with SpongeBob. I think before that was Beavis and Butthead. I like Mike Judge movies. If you ever watch Office Space and Extract, in that order, because Office Space was the first one, and then Idiosyncrasy. It's been a while since I've watched Office Space. It is, yeah. Oh, if you ever watched No Country for Old Men, the guy who played Milton is in there. He was one of the guys. You'd recognize him if you watch Office Space. That guy does one of the Hank Hill. Yeah, you'll notice that King of the Hill was also made by Mike Judge, and that bald guy that always wears the wife beater, the character, I forget what his name was. It was talks like this. Hey Hank. That guy's played by the guy who played Milton. The guy who played Dale Gribble, he's dead now, or he passed away. Dale Gribble. Was anything inserted into my body? I always like to sound like characters. Dale Gribble. Bill. There we go. Yeah, Bill. Bill. Yeah, he's played by the guy who played Milton. So that's pretty cool how he played Milton and now he plays Bill. Yeah, rest in peace, Dale. He always likes another cigarette. It was fun watching John Redcorn. John Redcorn would always hop out of the window because he was always banging his wife. I can't hear you. SpongeBob. SpongeBob SquarePants. Wow, that made me cough. SpongeBob SquarePants. I like watching my nose turn really red. For some reason, I wonder if that's a sign of some kind. Look at that. My nose looks like Rudolph. Rudolph the red-nosed reindeer. It's swelling. I wonder if I have... Oh, I'm getting a honk. I think that's my mom. So I'll have to say goodbye for now. And it was a pleasure speaking to you all. I'm going to have to... Because when I hear that honk, she wants help from the car to the house. Strange. That's right. The red nose. So I will see you again. I have to go help my mother now. Later. Yeah, I'll try to keep it fun. Oops.